They say there's a fine line between crazy and genius, and I think this theory is somewhere in that vicinity. Zoro kills Kaido. Most of us have heard it before, and if you haven't, the basic premise of this theory is Zoro will be the one to kill Kaido. Some say it makes no sense for Zoro's character and this is Luffy's fight, but I think this theory may be genius. So first off, Shimochiki Ryuma, who Oda's one-shot monsters is based on, is a canon character in the One Piece world, who around 400 years ago slayed the Western Dragon, protecting the country of gold Wano. Listing the similarities between Zoro and Ryuma, as most One Piece fans know, is a bit redundant at this point, but that's why we got a quick fire counter. Identical looks, identical blades, Zoro, Ryuma, Shimochiki trained the left eye, the November moon, slaying the dragon of the capital Shu. Okay, I have to admit this was more of a rap than a quickfire, but if you caught the last line, I said slaying a dragon over the capital, Zoro is Jew. If we remember back, Zoro did slay a dragon in Punk Hazard, but unlike Ryuma's dragon 400 years ago, Zoro's victory did not have the same legendary impact. It was hailed as one of Ryuma's greatest feats and was one of the major events that made him the sword god, and remembered for over 400 years with a legendary status. And Zoro's Kinemon speaking, drooling looking dragon was kinda meh in comparison. But let's say Zoro slayed the strongest creature in the world, the Eastern Dragon, the Emperor Kaido, to protect the citizens of Wano. I would say that would create a similar legend for Zoro as it did for Ryuma. And it's not like this idea of Zoro slaying the Eastern Dragon is new or anything. Look what was said in One Piece magazine volume 5 a few years back. Now that Zoro has obtained Tsushui from Ryuma after their duel, the possibility might arise that a new legend of slaying an Eastern Dragon might be born. Why are the One Piece staff saying this? Anyways, in Chinese mythology, where this idea of the Eastern and Western Dragon originates, originally the creature that opposes this Eastern Dragon is the tiger. And there are actually two characters in the story that have been specifically represented as this tiger, Luffy and Zoro. Luffy has been seen with a tiger in a few cover pages now, and most people speculate that Luffy's Gear 5 form will be a tiger. There's been a trend of Luffy's Gear 4 forms taking inspiration from the animals at Ruskaina, so it's fitting the last and strongest form of Luffy would imitate the last and strongest creature of Ruskaina, the tiger. So it's fitting for Luffy to be the one to defeat Kaido. A failed drunken joy boy versus a real joy boy, the yin and the yang, but that's not the end of the story. I did say Zoro was also represented as this tiger. From his personality being akin to a tiger, attacks specifically named after a tiger, cover pages with Zoro and tigers chilling side by side, and now the Wano anime weirdly representing Zoro as this tiger. Again, why are the One Piece staff doing this? Just for fun? Maybe just for the lols? No. You could technically argue all this foreshadowing was hinting at the scar Zoro eventually gives Kaido, and thus will slightly contribute, even if it's 1%, to Kaido's eventual defeat. Maybe this scar will start throbbing again when Kaido and Luffy have their last duel, and that's how Luffy is able to get the slight edge over Kaido and defeat him. And I do still think Luffy will be the one to defeat Kaido, but it begs the question, is a defeat enough or does Kaido have to die? And of course Crocodile, yeah, chuck him and impel down. Doflamingo, throw him in as well. Kaido, let's chuck him in too. Yeah, we got a problem. Yeah, he went. Kaido, yeah, he left. The prison can't really hold a mythical dragon. If I asked Luffy, does Kaido have to die? He would probably tell you something like, I'm gonna punch him so hard that he leaves Wano for good. But if this is the case, if Kaido chooses to, he could fly back years down the line and start his reign again. The safety of the people of Wano would not be guaranteed in this situation. They will always be plagued by the fear that at any time, Kaido can just fly back to Wano again and tell them, unlucky mate, I'm here to stay. Which is why, if I ask the Scabbards, they will tell you Kaido has to die. Just let us die, once we've taken your head that is. Sever his windpipe, stop his breathing. This fight is not over till his head is severed, are all the things the Scabbards have said. Odin said that he came to cut off Kaido's head in his sleep. The man that most people believe would have defeated Kaido if it was not for external interference. And now Zoro possesses Odin's blade Enma, the blade that has been surging when Kaido is near. And the will of the blade seems like it wants to accomplish what Odin wanted, which is to take Kaido's head. And funnily enough, if you didn't know, there was an SPS that Oda did where the devil fruit Zoro would get was in there. So if Zoro was ever to get a devil fruit, it would be this one. And he said, it will be Kaido's fruit. But it would be better if Zoro's swords were the one who ate the fruit. As much as this is a hypothetical, Zoro's swords would get Kaido's devil fruit? Is Oda suggesting that Zoro will slay Kaido? How else would his sword get the devil fruit? The evidence don't stop there. In Wano itself, we see during Yasuo's speech, Oda specifically drew Zoro in the panel where it stated Kaido's head has gone unclaimed for the past 20 years. And speaking of Yasue, both his daughter Toko and Hiyori, who Yasue knew, took a liking to Zoro after he protected them. If we look at past trends, normally Luffy is the one who befriends the princess of each arc, but in Wano it is Zoro who's befriended the princess of the nation. A strange twist in the story. Comment down below if you think this is significant. Okay, and if you're into cover page connections, look at this one. Back in the day, people used to think that Zoro would die in chapter 944 due to the symbol of death being placed on him in this cover page, as well as the tombstone number being 944. But guess what? Zoro didn't die in chapter 944, but instead there is something really special about this number. It is the number of Kaido's Vivre card. So Zoro is wearing a t-shirt with the Spanish word for final on his back, with a skull representing death, sitting next to a tombstone with the same number of Kaido's Vivre card on it. And guess what the title of chapter 944 is? Partner. And look at this cover page from chapter 992. Zoro is holding a bowl with Kaido's dragon being the outer design of the bowl. And Zoro is eating ramen with exactly two chopsticks. Exactly 2 chopsticks. Do you know what that means? Zoro is eating ramen just like he's gonna eat Kaido up at the end of Wano with that 2-sword Oden Nitoryu style. Okay, I'm memeing with this one, but why is Zoro eating from that bowl? That's a bit strange, no? And actually the events of this chapter aren't random either. It's the Scabbards attacking Kaido for the first time, and Kaido tells them their attacks do not match up to Oden's. However, there's one man on the cover page that might even surpass Oden. Okay, and this next part is probably like 99.99% coincidence, but I want to mention it anyway. I invented this chapter number of 992 to get 299, right? But that is the same chapter Luffy defeats Enel, where we hear the citizens say that after 400 years, someone has rang the golden bell again. This number of 400 years is important, because that's also the same 400-year time frame that is given for Ryuma saving the golden country of Wano. The city of gold, the country of gold, the poneglyphs, 400 years? But as much as the Zoro killing Kaido theory makes sense, there are a couple problems people have with it that I want to address. First of all, yeah, nice theory and all, but look at Zoro. The man is on death's door. He can't even kill an ant at this point. What's he gonna do to Kaido? Second, this would take away from Luffy's win. To address the first point, yes, Zoro is on death's door. And for any other character, I would say that's it. Zoro has tanked an attack from 2 Yonko, scarred Kaido, fought and defeated Kaido's right-hand man King. What else can he do? One more showing at the end of Wano, a small time window, and that's it. And as for taking away from Luffy, not necessarily, but rather adding to the legend of both characters. Luffy is the one who defeated Kaido, and Zoro is the one to kill this unkillable beast. Just look at this Shonen Jump cover. The 2 pirates kill the evil spirit, with a picture of Zoro and Luffy crossing swords in front of Kaido. The 2 pirates kill? I don't think Luffy's doing any killing here. Everything Zoro has accomplished so far has been unbelievable. However, Zoro cannot still be considered the savior of Wano when none of the Wano citizens have witnessed his feats. So to be acknowledged as the second Ryuma, he may need to replicate Ryuma's legend over the Flower Capital. And I don't know how Wano will end for sure because I'm not Oda, but here is one of the countless possibilities that could work to justify the Zoro kills Kaido theory. Unified Luffy as the way Kaido is happening over the Flower Capital, while all the citizens of Wano watch this fierce battle right before their very eyes. And Luffy, in the hardest battles ever fought, overcomes Kaido, the man they said could never be beat 1v1. One screams, it's over. Straw Hat Luffy has done it. One says, let's go to the pub and celebrate with a VB. But there is a twist. Kaido, with his incredible recovery rates and legendary devil fruit infused body, is able to get up from the defeat in an extremely weakened state. Enraged at being defeated, Kaido is firing Boro bats at the capital. The people scream and run in terror. But there is a shadow of one man, basically a zombie at this point. In so much pain you can see his veins popping through his blood vessels. The will of every scabbard, Oden, and most importantly every citizen of Wano is about to be fulfilled. He charges into the fire, and under the full moon, the new legend of slaying an Eastern dragon is born. Zoro kills Kaido.